Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Don Norden. I'm the founder and the CEO of Global Ministries Network. Global Ministries Network oversees churches, trains ministers, helps people to have access to resources that they desperately need. We are not a denomination, we are in the truest sense of the word, a ministry network where we connect people and we connect ministries and we connect resources. We do credential ministers and help to oversee churches. If you would like to become a part of Global Ministries Network, we would love to walk with you. There's a link that you can click there that will give you additional information. And if you're looking for a tribe to connect with, we hope that we are that tribe for you. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we would love to have a conversation with you about being a part of Global Ministries Network. God bless you.
Welcome to another episode of GMN's podcast, Leadership Blueprint, Foundational Kingdom Strategies for Leading Well. Today, we have our amazing guest, Becky Khan.
Becky will do.
Okay, Becky will do. So, Becky, you are my wife's plug for caffeine and energy every day.
Glad I can help.
Yeah. So our first kind of coming in contact with you is Fairmont Nutrition. If you're local, it's in Pasadena on Fairmont, right at Preston and Fairmont.
Yeah. Holler at your girl.
Go see it. They have these delicious loaded teas. They say they're nutritional. We'll see. They're delicious.
They're absolutely nutritional. What are you talking about? Loaded with vitamins.
And so what you'll find is that if you come in contact or even in the vicinity of Becky Khan, she's going to pull you in to some fun and excitement.
In the best way.
In the best way.
Yeah.
My favorite is they have these little punch cards. If you get 10 drinks, you get one free. And she has a cup that has a whistle.
Yeah, shout out to it's called the Loud Cup.
The Loud Cup.
Yes,
okay.
rightfully so. Mm-hmm.
We're not sponsoring anything. I mean, if you get one, that's just good for you.
Yeah.
But, my wife, who's Larissa, who's a little reserved, she especially enjoys the Loud Cup.
She actually waits until I'm not there to redeem it. Like, if I'm there, she's like, I'll hold it.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
she probably has like 5 on deck just waiting for you to not be there. So anyways, but that was our first kind of introduction to you. And then, like I said, you can't come into the shop without you just drawing into friendship and relationship. And so I'll admit there's probably a lot about you that I don't know. And so why don't you tell me a little bit about, who Becky is? Did you grow up in this area? What kind of led you?
All things Becky Khan. Man, careful what you wish for. This is being recorded, isn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of grew up in this area. I was born in Baytown and lived there for a bit, and a single mom that got hurt early on in my life, so I ended up taking care of her for a good portion of my childhood and into my teens and adulthood. But we moved to Deer Park when I was 13. But I've been going to Deer Park schools since 3rd grade. And I graduated from Deer Park High School in 1999, if that tells a little bit about how old I am.
Just a little bit. I was 04, graduated Deer Park 04.
Oh my gosh, You're a baby.
Yeah, those 6 years, those 5 years makes a difference.
I always thought that I would be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I was the Texas Future Teachers Association president.
Oh, wow.
Listen, I'll do autographs later. Calm down. So I really did always think that I was going to be a teacher. I love the Lord. When I was 13, actually, and right before we moved, I had an encounter, my first true encounter with Holy Spirit. I do believe with everything that I have, that was my salvation moment of surrender. And I just remember declaring that I would be the generational change for my family.
Oh, wow.
Growing up, my father had committed suicide when I was young. My mother got hurt, and she was an addict for as long as I can remember, just addicted to pain medication, and that's what I was always kind of subject to. My sister was an addict, so there was just a lot of that, and I knew what I didn't want.
Yeah.
And so from that moment on, I used to say that the Lord was not the only one listening at that time. Because the enemy was after me, but he never prevails. And so here we are, you fast forward, I have 3 children. We don't have to go into all of the details, but I've got 3 kids, 3 grown kids, 26, 22, and 18. Jane, which we'll talk a little bit about later, I'm sure. And then my husband and I have fostered 14 children to date, and currently have 2 that we have petitioned for adoption. And so, there's a whole lot in between there.
Yeah, as there always is. So that's incredible because, like I said, I didn't know that. I didn't know that history, that background. And so, what you usually find is, and it sounds like maybe in that contrast between you and your sister, that you usually have people that are say, "I will never."
Yeah.
Or you have people that somehow just slip into some of those same generational patterns. And so to see you where you're at and what you're doing, and definitely see that you made a shift and change. And we're definitely going to be talking about Jane around the world, because what I didn't say is, you lead, not only are you an entrepreneur that you have your own business, but you also lead a nonprofit called Jane Around the World,
Right.
which is housing for aged out foster kids. I say kids, they're adults, but they're
Right, sort of.
And so we're going to get more into that, because I still want to stay on a little bit on your story, because I know that you didn't just start doing
Right.
Fairmont Nutrition or start doing Jane Around the World
Right.
from day one of your working career. So you made that decision. You had an encounter with God. Like what's some of that in between?
So the interesting thing is, I, growing up, wanted to be a teacher, knew that I would be a teacher, was on track to be a teacher, right? And then I got pregnant at 16 years old. And so I was a good kid. Listen, I was a good kid, Jeremy. I just liked my boyfriend a whole lot. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. But God, God prevails always, right? So my son, which is 26 now, I had him when I was 17. I had to fast track. Like, I knew that I needed to graduate high school. So I did my junior and my senior year in 1 year and graduated. And I was working at Quiznos. And I thought, okay, well, this is my life.
Yeah.
But only for just a second, because I had to not only do it for my child, but I had to do it for everyone that was watching. And I knew that declaration that I made, I had to prove it, right? I knew that God was working in me. There was no doubt. Listen, I made mistakes. I fall short always. We all fall short of the glory of God, right? But I knew that He was working all things to the good. I trusted Him, and He did. And I had an opportunity when I was 19, I had an opportunity to work at a large brokerage firm, insurance brokerage firm in Houston, and started in the mailroom. Right? Like legit mailroom.
Yeah.
If you can 9 to 5, right? You just like going with the mail cart and with the stuff.
Did you have the tubes?
I did. I didn't have
Oh,
tubes. It
man.
wasn't that cool. But I
'Cause
did
my
have
mind-
a switchboard.
My mind automatically goes to Elf, where Buddy has to go down to the mailroom, and that was my hope, because I think you'd probably be dancing on the table.
For sure I would.
Get everybody in the mailroom, and then
Listen, I did though. I had my cart that had a nice little squeak, so people knew when I was coming. You know what I'm saying? But I was so interested as I would open the mail. I took note of like what I was opening. And this is a large insurance brokerage firm, and there was all kinds of lawsuits coming in. There was all kinds of policies coming in, whatever. So I just started reading this stuff. And I thought, man, this is pretty interesting. It's just asking questions, having conversations. So I always encourage people to be curious.
Yeah.
Always. Because you don't know what's on the other side of that curiosity. So the vice chairman, he's since gone to be with the Lord. His name was Bill Ratz. He took notice, and he's like, you know what? I think you're going to be doing a whole lot more than the mailroom.
Yeah.
And so he gave me an opportunity. He gave me a chance. He believed in me. He was the father that I never had. He gave me opportunity that I never would have had without a degree, which I did not have. I never went to college, you know. And so I started working on the insurance side. I was his assistant. And it was one of those things of like, he was the guy that said, tell your pods to get with my pods and we'll go down to the thing and do the deal, you know? So I would have to translate for him all the time. I like, tell Sally to get with John. Y'all meet at Post Oak.
Because I was going to go with it, but I was like, I need some translation here too. Because I've never heard of get your pods with my pods.
I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's a thing. So long story short, because of his belief in me, it really did. God used him in a mighty way to put deposits, to encourage, to breathe life, to speak life. He was a believer, and he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at the time. Fast tracked that, went through the insurance world, and ended up I got married in that time frame and had my daughter, my 22-year-old, and then I was pregnant again and I wanted to be closer to home. So I started working for a small brokerage firm, or small insurance agency really, in Deer Park area. Learned the sales side of things, and so started in the mailroom, and then worked all the way up to the sales and production side. And I love people. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, Jeremy. But I love people, and so it was just a natural fit, and the sky was the limit. And I was like, look, if I don't have a college degree, that doesn't mean that it's a death sentence. It doesn't mean that I can't do anything with my life. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to run with it. And then I was given an opportunity with another firm that has supported me tremendously and believed in me and gave me all of the room to grow. And I jumped into production, and that's what I did for 15 years. Sold insurance policies. It sounds super glamorous, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, let's dig into that.
Insurance and risk management. But honestly, that was a tool. It was absolutely a tool to sit at tables with people that I never would have had the opportunity to sit at tables with. I had to learn early on that it didn't matter. We're all people. We all put our pants on the same way. Whether you are the president of ABC Association or you're working in the mailroom, like I put my pants on the same way that you did. And God loves me. He loves you. And it was 100% an opportunity to share the gospel. I was never afraid to, even though I was encouraged throughout a large portion of the beginning of my sales until they realized that they couldn't really tell me what to do.
Well, I would assume you're pretty good at it, right?
At sales or sharing the gospel?
Sales.
I mean, I made a pretty good living, yeah, And
So
I don't want to call it sales because, that sounds like not as...
sounds gross.
Yeah, it sounds gross.
Well, you're providing safety and security
Absolutely.
for companies of just things that just happen, right?
Absolutely. Listen, I had to believe that they needed me more than I knew that they needed me. Like, it truly, because risk is a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But what I wanted to get at is that whenever you're just good at what you do, you get a little more leeway on what you can get away with, right?
I mean, probably, yeah.
I mean, it's like, hey, listen.
Probably so.
I know you like my sales.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to take. I'm gonna share the gospel. It's just who I am.
You know what? They were not. They knew that what I was doing wasn't necessarily a traditional thing, right? But people, like I had clients for 15, 16 years that, up until I retired, that were with me the whole time. But I was their friend first and their agent after.
Right.
And because I met them where they were and had those deposits, I could have those conversations. And it wasn't a matter of like, do you know Jesus? It was never about that. It was just loving them and encouraging them and being for them. And they saw that light. They saw that love. They saw the Jesus. And they wanted to know what I had that they didn't.
Yeah.
And so then it just organically happened. The Lord used it,
Yeah, because that's usually how it starts. Even some people are like, maybe a little grumpy, and it's like, wow, what are you so happy about? And then it gets contagious, like, whoa, I want a little bit of that in my life too.
Right.
So this is one of the things I do in my own life, and hearing that, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but so much we can kind of future trip, right? We have the destination we want to get to, and we feel like God has taken us to these new heights and new destinations, and we want to get there. And sometimes we can get frustrated or even agitated at where we're at or where we've been. Like, well, if I would have just done this in day one, then how far along we've been.
Sure.
But what were some of your major takeaways just from a skill base or whatever that you learned from 15 years of insurance production, if that's what we're calling it?
We're not saying sales,
Yeah.
it's the S word. Some things that I learned along the way, I think that, number one, we're always better together, and not to be cliche, but it can be really lonely at the top if you don't bring anybody along with you. And so I think early on I learned that having the team and building a team was so important. I stumbled in that because I always considered myself a bit of a leader, sort of, but also I would bulldoze things. And because I wanted, like I saw a goal, I wanted to get to the goal, and so I would kind of bulldoze things. And so it was learning that I'm never going to expect anything from you that I wouldn't be willing to do myself or haven't done myself. And I had a high expectation, but it's because I saw the gold in people and I wanted to bring them to those levels. But a lot of times it was faster than what their capacity was or even what they wanted. And you can't want something more than somebody wants themselves, right? And so stumbling through some of that, I learned that I'm better with people and not on my own, which was a big deal, especially in production because it's so competitive. And so a lot of times you can feel like you're on an island by yourself, you know, but even the co-selling and bringing people along with whatever journey it was that I was going on for that day, and being afraid and doing it anyway. That's a huge deal.
Right.
Can I caveat real fast?
Let's hear the caveat.
Okay, so I say that all the time, be afraid and do it anyway. I don't even know where it came from, but whoever it was, shout out because I own it. So I say this often, and we were driving the other day with one of our littles. He is 6, and he just started gymnastics, which is a huge deal because with foster care, it's hard to get them involved in things, and then you have to rip them out of those things. So I'm always cautious to get them involved. But he's been asking for a year, so we're doing it. We're driving there, and I'm like, "Are you excited, buddy?" And I can see him in his car seat, in the rearview mirror, and he's so excited. And he said, "But I'm nervous." I said, "Why are you nervous?" He said, "I don't know. The rings are high in the air, and I said, "I know. It's okay though. You're gonna be able to do it." And he said, "You know what? I'm gonna be afraid and do it anyway."
There you go. Yes.
I was like, oh my God, So anyway, I'm going to be afraid and do it anyway.
Absolutely.
And I've always been a risk taker. So I think that taking those risks, what's the worst thing that could happen at the end of the day? They could say no. I had to knock on, I don't know, millions of doors, literally, cookies in hand. "Hi, I'm the cookie lady. Talk to me. You need what I am selling." So I had many doors slammed in my face, many no's. But I knew that whoever needed me was going to open that door. God was going to open the doors that he ordained to open, and I would walk through them. But I had to take a whole lot of no's. I had to take a whole lot of humbling, a whole lot of hits to the gut, and keep pushing forward. Because if I had just laid down, I wouldn't have reached the success, and I say that in quotations because success is relative. But I never would have reached the success that I reached in that career without pushing through those no's. So building a team, bringing the team along, not doing it on your own, and pushing through the no's because. What's a no? Just move on to the next.
Yeah. One of the things in some real estate training I heard once where they said that basically every no is one step closer to a yes. And so you just got to keep going. My father-in-law, Apostle Don Norden, one of the things that he's always admired by is his faith. And people, probably think he's crazy and all this stuff, but stuff works out. And people ask him about it, and his response is, he goes, people of high faith and risk-taking, all that, it's not that they don't have fear.
Sure.
It's just that the fear of not doing something is
on.
greater than the fear of
Come
doing
on.
something.
Yes.
And so there's a fine line between that faith and fear, and we just got to, trust that God's going to work it all out.
Yeah.
He's
Gotta
gonna
be
do
afraid
it.
to do it anyway, because he's going to use it. Yeah.
So I think we're going to touch back on this, but let's kind of move forward. So Jane Around the World.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about that, because somewhere you decided to stop performing. What are we?
Production.
Production. We're going to stop production and insurance.
Yes.
And we're going to take
Jump
a leap
in.
of faith and jump all in
Man.
with Jane Around the World. But first, let's just get an idea of what is Jane Around the World. You said Jane's your daughter's name, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Jane Around the World is an organization that meets people where they are and helps them discover where they can be. We started as a street ministry with my daughter Jane, hence Jane Around the World, and we really did believe that it was just going to be, hey, we were packing some bags for the homeless. She was 12. She wanted to go and take her friends that had never served in the streets before for her 13th birthday. And we're like, sure, yeah, let's do it. So she had a goal of 1,000 bags because, she's my kid, so why would she not, right?
Yeah.
So we went to HEB and bought what it would take to get a bag packed with the things that she wanted, and it was about $6 or $7. And I said, okay, so how much is 1,000 bags going to cost?
Yeah.
And can we do that on our own? And she was like, well, can we ask the church and maybe some of our neighbors and take up some collections? Sure. So we made a little flyer. I found the flyer the other day. It was like nostalgic. Anyhow, so we made a flyer, posted it at the church, a couple of other churches that we had relationship with, asked neighbors, literally had like a wagon walking, to collect toothbrush and soap, toothpaste, wipes, the things that she wanted in the bags. And she had gotten enough with that petition to to make about 500 bags. And I looked at her, and I think this is one of those moments that, I don't even, it was Holy Spirit, because I don't know that I would have in my own thoughts just challenged her in this way, but I said, okay, that's awesome, but your goal was 1,000, so what are you going to do to get to your goal? Mm-hmm. And she asked if she could do a GoFundMe, and I was like, people do GoFundMes for hair extensions, so why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, little did I know that her GoFundMe campaign would do really well, and it did. They ended up, this was one of those pivotal moments in this journey. They ended up naming her the GoFundMe Kid Hero in February of 2020. When they contacted us, of course, we're thinking like, we're just packing bags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're just packing some bags and serving in the streets. And they said, well, this will be an international campaign. We'll do a news story, like all of these things. And I'm like, well, okay, how much money do these typically raise? And they're like, anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000. And I'm like, well, that can't be my income, so what are we going to do? And only looking back, I'm thinking, how in the world? But it's 100% all God, because I don't know what I'm doing. And he convicted me early on in this journey. Stop saying that you don't know, because nobody cares what you know. So what I know, who cares?
Yeah.
What he knows, everything. So fast-tracked our 501c3 registration, applied. We got this in like a month, and apparently that's unheard of. Like, apparently it's unheard of. I had reached out to a few people that I thought may be able to help, and they kind of helped a little bit, but they're like, yeah, it's gonna be a process. I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see. So we did it, and literally, Jeremy, we got the nonprofit status on January 27th, 2020, and they rolled out the campaign on February 1st, 2020. So, like, literally God's timing, in the nick of time. That catapulted things we ended up raising around $25,000 or $30,000 on that campaign, but then COVID. Mm-hmm. So serving in the streets looked very different during that time, and we started to partner with area shelters. Little did we know that God was using all of this to build relationships, to build collaboration for what was to come later. And we started partnering with other shelters, providing food. Bread was a big thing. Toilet paper. Don't know if y'all remember this.
Oh, I remember.
So one of
diapers.
The yes. There was even like one of the area shelters was like, can you, because nobody was allowed in or out. So the people that were in, and they were like, can you just bring us some soda? Like, we just want a Dr.
yeah.
Pepper. So we ended up like delivering a pallet of sodas, to this shelter. So anyway, all along the Lord was building, and we started fostering in the midst of all of that. And we started seeing the parallels between foster care and homelessness, because statistically 50% of the kids that age out of foster care end up dead, homeless, or in prison within the first year. And you can hear a statistic, like I just said that.
Yeah.
Half of the children that age out of foster care end up dead, homeless, or in prison. And you can hear it, and you can do nothing about it, or you can hear it, and it stings your heart, and you ask the Lord to compel your heart for what compels His, and you can do something about it. We didn't know. We thought, okay, we'll do something eventually, right?
Yeah.
I had like a 5 to 7 year plan, and then the Lord's like, "You're so cute.
Yeah.
We're going to do this in like 5 to 7 months." So
Yeah, didn't fast track your nonprofit in 30 days just to throw it out for 5-7 years.
Literally. So we ended up in that time frame. My husband, God bless him, like, can you imagine? I wonder what it's like to be married to me. Because I'm like, and next.
We have another podcast with Max here in a week or so, so that's what that one will be about.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So we ended up moving in this time frame. We moved from the house that we were in because we couldn't. And let me tell you, like, it's crazy. Let me back up a little bit, because I want to share this tidbit of information. In this time frame, I was bivocational. So I was a youth pastor at a local church. I was working at the insurance firm. We were running this nonprofit, which at that point was really just still street ministry and resourcing, or what we call community connection. And I remember, like, it was so clear. Holy Spirit met me. I was doing a 21-day fast, and I was actually fasting for my daughter. And I remember being mad at the end of that 21 days because I literally had not eaten anything, right? I was drinking water, I was drinking broth, and I would have one protein shake a day, like for 21 days. And at the end of the 21 days, I felt like it wasn't finished. I was like, dude, I just want some popcorn.
Yeah.
Please.
Or a crispy Dr. Pepper.
Right, like something. And I remember being mad, and I was sitting on my couch, and I was mad, and I just started writing in my journal. And oftentimes, Holy Spirit meets me in my writing. And he took over the pen and literally laid out a plan for exit from youth ministry. And I thought, this is not what I've been praying about.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, this isn't it. But it was so clear. And it made Jeremy, it made absolutely no sense. Like, we were rocking it in youth ministry.
Yeah.
We were averaging 125 kids on a Wednesday night, and like there was salvations, and our team was growing from a standpoint of the leadership. Like, people's lives were changing.
Yeah.
And it made absolutely no sense, but it was so very clear. So the next morning, like, I wake up and I'm telling Max, all right, I'm stepping down from student ministry. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And he's like, almost mad about it. Like, you're not going to consult me about any of the things, Like, well, God said, so I don't know.
Yeah. Talk to him about it.
Talk to him about it. But I share that because it wasn't very much later that we decided that Holy Spirit was clear, even in that time, that it was time to step down at High Point Insurance Group, which is where I was working. And also didn't make sense because I'm like, this is literally our livelihood.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm okay. So it was almost as if I didn't even pick up the phone. Like, he was just doing it all. I pick up the phone, I call Heather, she's the CEO, and I'm like, hey, do you want to meet for lunch? She's like, it's Saturday. I'm like, yeah, but I like you a lot, so.
Yeah.
And so she said, okay. So I remember walking into the restaurant, Jeremy, and I stood at the table. She was sitting at the table, and I laid both of my hands on the table. And I said, I think that we need to develop an exit strategy. And she looked at me, And in that moment, there's been very few times in my life that I've audibly heard the voice of God. But I audibly heard him say, that's all I needed you to do. And it was as if it was an Abraham moment, literally like bringing my sacrifice, And so she said, why would we ever do that? I said, well, because I feel like I'm being let out, whether it's like full-time youth ministry, or even though I'm supposed to step down from this, maybe I'm supposed to do something else. I don't know. Maybe it's Jane around the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's like, so literally you're going to like leave and you don't even know what you're doing? I'm like, oh, well, kind of. Yeah. She said, no, we're not going to do that. In fact, if you never sell another piece of business, I don't care. Like we are more valuable with you than without you. And so just stay, you do whatever you need to do, but continue to just foster the relationships that you formed. And if you don't sell anything else, I don't care.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna keep paying you. I'm like, okay,
Amen.
deal.
Say less.
Say less. So I did that for a while, but it still wasn't exactly what the Lord had called me to do. And so in that end time frame, we moved. We ended up buying the house that was next door to us. So in that process, which was crazy because, mind you, I'm on this like 3-year exit strategy, right? So I'm like gonna not make any money. So let's just put all of our life savings into buying another house.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes total sense, right? But God, so the house that we were looking at, I had no idea that it was going to be the group home. Like, I was just being nosy, to be honest. And as I'm looking through this virtually, there's like all these large communal areas. Like, you go into the kitchen and it's a big 12-seater dining room table. Like, who has a 12-seater dining room table in their kitchen? You go to the laundry room, there's like 2 washer, 2 dryers. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
And immediately Holy Spirit just kind of deposits like, this is the group home. I'm like, I didn't even know we were doing a group home, right?
When are you going to bring me in on that?
Like, wait a minute. So that I went and talked to Jane and I said, I think that this house is going to be the group home. And she was like, oh, all right. She's like, she's ready. And I go and talk to Max, my husband. God bless him. Y'all pray for Max, please. And I said, hey, so I know that like we don't go to the same church anymore. I didn't even tell you about that process. We don't go to the same church anymore. We don't have the same jobs anymore. We don't live in the same house anymore. We don't even have the same kids anymore. But I think that we should buy this house and open a group home. And he's like, absolutely not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. He was very like, we're not doing it. Put the foot down. Because I'm a real submissive wife. I don't know if you know this about me or not. I'm working on it. I was like, okay. All right. Well, will you just pray about it?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll pray about it, but we're not doing it. So it was about 3 days later. We were in the room, and he goes, and I knew. I was like, yeah. He said, tell me more. That's right. He's like, tell me more about this group home. I'm like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And so anyway, we ended up offering $100,000 less. I mean, listeners, listen. They wanted $100,000 more than what we offered on this house. And they said no. And we could have in that moment been super deflated and like, but I thought this was God. I knew this was going to happen. Like, what, But I remember sitting in the chairs that are actually still on the front porch of that house and praying and saying, Lord, if this is in your will, then make it come to pass. Make them come back around to us. And it was about a month later that we got a call and they said, hey, is that offer still good? And we're like, it is. So we jumped in. And let me tell you what, talk about taking risk, because literally I'm not going to have a job in a minute.
Right.
And this was our savings. Like, this was what we were going to, it's like, it makes me feel a little sick to my stomach even now talking about it, because.
Wait, we did that?
Right. Like, we had and have to trust God with every single step that we take. And even when it sounds crazy, even when it's like, why in the world would you ever? Well, because he said, and because we did that, we now have a transformational living facility in LaPorte, Texas, for ladies that have aged out of foster care and youth at risk of homelessness, ages 18 to 24 years old, that we have seen true supernatural like transformation in the lives of these ladies that come through our home. It's designed for them to stay 18 to 24 months, but sometimes, they leave a little sooner than that, or sometimes they might have to stay a little longer than that. But truly, it's not just about meeting them in the need for shelter, but it's about meeting that spiritual need, that emotional need, the mental, physical, social, all of it, holistically meeting these ladies.
Absolutely. And it's just, and what I know about Jane Around the World is that besides just what y'all are able to minister to, you have these community partners. So it's not just, hey, you've got a safe place to stay and we're going to pray for you and believe with you. I mean, we've got Pinnacle Industries that is bringing them into coaching to help them understand who they are. We've got San Jack. And there's probably more than that I'm not even aware of. But you have these community partners that are not just meeting those spiritual needs, but hey, let's help you get up to speed on this life to live a fruitful life.
Yes. I mean, the whole goal is sustainable independence, right? So that is very, by worldly standard, you want to be able to drive yourself to your own appointments and make a living to, have an apartment or have a house or whatever it is that your goal is. But you meet that because they can't move forward without that. And listen, Jeremy, that meeting somebody that has a hard time even making eye contact with you and saying, you know what, I believe in you. And we're going to do this together. We're going to lock arms. We're going to do this together. If you want this, I want this. And I can't want it more than you do, but I'm locking arms with you. I'm going to walk this out with you. And so Fairmont Nutrition is a place that we start them off with employment. Yeah. And that's for those girls that have a hard time making eye contact or saying hello. And it's tough, listen, imagine you're being mom. I'm not really mom. Okay. But they look at oh, mom's here, so you're being mom, you're being mentor, you're being boss. It's hard to kind of marry all of those things, but there's so much grace, and they have taught me so much patience through this process. But they don't stay. The goal is that they don't stay at Fairmont Nutrition long. It's just a place that meets them with grace, that can allow them to build some social skills, that can allow them to build some skills on what it takes to run a drink shop, a coffee shop, a restaurant, that sort of thing, and that's something that they feel like they can build on at that point.
Yeah, because, just thinking about it, right, you have I don't know, like I said, just how I look at all of it and just start going backwards, and you got your insurance career, which I'm sure some of those partnerships are still, coming in to play. 100%. But God used all of that. Yes. And in all honesty, it really wasn't for you. It wasn't for Max. It wasn't for Jane. But it's about these young women. Yeah. To have a chance at life that they wouldn't ever have before. Yeah. And so your life is marked by risk taking. And often think of I don't know if you remember seeing that video where this guy's on this high wire type thing, and where you step across these blocks, but it's really high, but you're tied off so you're safe. And he literally runs all the way across, and then the guy realizes that they never clipped in the safety rope. I feel like that's a lot of how we, when you take risks, that's what it feels like. You look back, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Yeah.
But thankfully, we are always tethered to the safety rope, right? Yeah. Because we have God, and we know that. We have that security in Him.
And so even when you're talking about, locking eyes with these young ladies and saying, hey, I've got your back. They don't just believe you the first time.
No way.
Probably not the second time, because for them to trust you is even a risk.
Absolutely.
Because how many times have they been promised and told all the great things that were going to happen? Oh no, this home is going to be a great home for you, and you just start to give up hope on life.
Yeah. on average, I mean, they move 7 times in the first year in foster care. So, and especially if they come in as a teen, it's even more than that, because there's behaviors, there's challenges, right? And so it's either that, the abandonment of like, no, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worth it. You don't really see me. You don't even know me. How could you love me? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, I believe, I mean, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand where they're coming from. I'm like, I love you with the love of Jesus. It's a different kind of love than you may have ever experienced, you know, and well, you don't know me. You can't love me. That's not true. I may not like you. But I love you. But also in the risk taking, with them taking that risk and me taking the risk of being vulnerable as well. Because listen, I mean, I get attached too.
Yeah.
You know, walking out life with them, and then all of a sudden it's like you've poured everything into this individual, and then they're literally like spitting in your face the next day.
Yeah.
That's a risk for us. But you know what? It's not about you. It's not about me. It's all about him. We are here to make waves for the kingdom. You know, it's kind of our tag, if you
Yeah.
will. But that's truly it. And you know what? Waves aren't always gentle.
No.
Sometimes they meet you right smack dab in the face and knock you down, you know? And so we're riding the wave sometimes, and sometimes we're getting knocked down by the wave. And it's okay, because it's all for his glory.
Well, I mean, I think we give ourselves grace at times because what happens whenever we start getting some boundaries put in our lives, right? God starts saying, "Hey, let's deal with this." What do we start doing? We start putting our elbows out, like, whoa, 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 but then we oftentimes get critical of maybe these young women where, well, they just need to get in line, follow the rules, do what they're supposed to, but they have been rejected and pushed away for so many times that's just their defense mechanisms.
Right.
And so I just want to highlight just the fact that you, Jane, Max, your family, and for y'all to be able to give grace to these moments to say, hey, this may be your worst day, but I'm still going to love you anyway. That's just, it's a beautiful thing. And I know it takes a lot of grace and patience. And
It's been amazing to see what God does in that. And then even like through our like we cannot do this on our own, right? Our board of directors and all of the direction that they've given, our volunteers that have come. Did you know that last week we drove 460 miles, just last week?
Wow.
460 miles, all volunteer transported. That's wild to me.
Their vehicles, or whose vehicles?
The volunteer's vehicle, like
Wow.
like Sally's picking up Jane, not really Jane, but you know, Sally's picking up Judy and taking her to work, and then picking her up and bringing her back
Yeah.
home. But like 460 miles, but like we could not do this without our volunteers. And you're talking about the level of grace. Like this is something that we founded, that the Lord birthed in our heart, that we are championing, and to have volunteers that are willing to meet them with grace too,
Yeah.
that are willing to meet them with mercy, that is so big. But again, that's all God. You're talking about these appointments that we had with different people throughout this journey, whether it be through church or through community or through my insurance career, through Max's career in the fire department, or Max's career in welding, whatever. Like all of these connections that were made that I didn't know, talking to that lady 20 years ago, that she's now a transporter for us and one of our top transporters, you know, like I didn't know that 20 years ago, you know, but God did, you know.
I think that's just the facade of control we have on our lives, right? Zero control. Like, so then the more we try to grasp and contain and hold on to, it's like the more tension, stress, anxiety we have. But then when we really begin to just let go, and there's like, of course, we don't want to use the cliche saying like, we just got to let go and let God.
Let God. But it's true.
But it's true. It's so much peace just can come over our lives, and then you get to like look back and just see how God is in every single step of the way.
Yes.
And how the skills that you learned from selling insurance, producing insurance, the production of insurance, of building a team, understanding the value of team, that, hey, I can't bulldoze people.
Yeah.
I can't just run them over. You can't just run these girls over and just tell them what they need to do and
So
tell them how to
true.
live. God brought every single piece of it, your partnerships. I mean, I know that, this isn't a High Point promo here, but I know that they're sponsoring in October
Yeah.
a cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
And that all proceeds are coming back to Jane around the world. And so it's just beautiful to see. And then, you're not only a ministry leader, but you're an entrepreneur leading a business, and not for the sake of, putting money in your pocket, but for the sake of providing opportunities for these young women to learn these soft skills that are going to benefit them the rest of their life. And so, if there's anything I want to highlight, is just, man, take the risk, because God is in every bit of it. If He's leading you in it, He's going to provide the way.
That's right.
And so, with all of that said, to kind of begin to wrap this up and put it in a nice little package, what would you say is the leadership blueprint for your life? The thing that would say, if I come in contact with Becky Khan's leadership, this truly represents who she is and how she's going to leave a mark.
100% lead with love. Lead with love always. And not the love that we define in the worldly sense, but the love of God. By doing that, people instantly soften. And it's not something that's forced. It's not something that you can fabricate. It has to be authentic. And so leading with love, first and foremost, allowing people to fail. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so very difficult for me, because I'm a reformed enabler. And so I don't want to see people fail. I want to catch them in that safety net, but allowing people to fail so that, just like I have failed, they can scrape their knees, they can put the Band-Aids, they can get the scabs, and they can learn from that and not do it again. So leading with love and allowing people to fail. I remember a vision that the Lord gave me, and I'll wrap this up, but in this process, and this is in leadership, but this is also in just life in general. So I'm in the middle of this river, and I know it's a river because I can feel the rapids around me. I can see the rapids, but the banks are too far away to jump to the bank to get off, get out of the middle of the river. And I'm standing on like a stepping stone in the middle of this river, and I look back, and there's all the stepping stones that I've taken to get to this one that I'm on. But when I look ahead, there's no stones in front of me. And Holy Spirit's saying, move forward, move forward. And I'm like, but there's not a stone. Like, where do you want me to move forward to? And as I lift my leg to propel forward, not until I do that. I can't stand there and be like, okay, I'm going to take it as soon as you put I can't do that. I have to actually start taking the step and propelling forward. That next stone appears. But until I take the risk of lifting my foot off of the stone to propel into the water, because if that stone does not come up, I'm going in the water. It's not until then that stone comes up, and He gives me the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And so trusting, believing, leading with love, encouraging those to come alongside you. When you see the people that are in the river, not to take away from the River Project, but when you see the people that are in the river next to you and you grab them up with you, if they're willing to take your hand, you take their hand. You run the race together. Don't do it alone. It's so much better together.
So that just kind of makes me think of one more question, that so as visionary leaders, as driven people, you can at times feel like people that are not willing or not so excited about taking the risk.
You know what I thought?
What?
There's at times that you want to choke people out, but you don't.
So how do you even lean? Because I really think that there's going to be some people that are like, man, God said go. I'm going to do it. But you have some of those contrasting voices, right? People that you love, you trust, you believe in, that are saying, whoa, let's maybe evaluate this or think about this before we just take a step where there's clearly nowhere to step.
Right.
So how have you I guess, kind of navigated that in your own life, or are you just like, I'm taking the step and you're either with me or you're not with me?
I would love to say that I have a formula for that, but I don't. And oftentimes, I can miss it. You know, I can miss that. I can propel forward and miss the step and fall right into the water because I get in my own way. I'm really good at that. I have a vision and I see it and I want it in my timing and not God's timing. But I think that surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, that have deposits in your life, and that you have deposits in their life, and you've got your mothers and fathers, and if it's those people that you have given permission to speak into your life, that have authority in your life, that are heeding warning to you, then you spend some time in that, and you listen and you spend some time with them and with the Lord on that. But if it's people that the naysayers of the world, if we can say that, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. I'm always going to take it up to the Lord, and but at the end of the day, I don't want to say that I have a peace about every decision that I make, because I don't. I'm sure that David didn't have peace as he was going before the battle line either. Like there was some fear there, but if I know, if I know that this is from the Lord, and the people that I have given authority and given permission in my life are not saying, "Thus saith the Lord," I'm going for it. Like you're with me or you're not. And if you want to come on later, then maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
So what I hear you saying through that is that, one, make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that you trust.
Absolutely.
That believe in you, you believe in them. Because I think one thing you said is that make sure that we all have the understanding of the vision of where you're going, where your ministry, your business, or whatever it is, we're all on the same page of where we're going, and then respecting the contrast. So then if you say, hey, well, maybe let's pump the brakes, on this, that they're not trying to sabotage you, come against you, or anything like that.
Right.
And listen to them, because you know that they want what's best for you, and they believe in you.
Right.
That's good. I think somebody needs to hear that.
Amen. Amen.
Because otherwise, like I said, we're gonna if we don't respect and trust the perspectives of the people around us, then we're gonna find ourselves in some messes and be stressed and frustrated and all that. Yeah,
and don't just surround yourself with yes men. You know, we don't need another yes man.
Let's reframe that. I don't want to say don't surround yourself with yes men. Here recently, we had somebody in, and somebody was criticizing them for just basically surrounding themselves on their board with people that all their friends and family and stuff like that. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not an idiot." He said, and I'm like, I love it. So really what we had, we just went through this with the board retreat, is that, understanding the differences.
That's
so
right.
It's not that you are putting no people on.
Sure,
You're putting people that
don't necessarily think like me.
They don't think like you, so they see a different perspective and they see it as another opportunity. So not that you're not putting yes people, because most of the time what you find is those people are still a yes.
That's fair. Mm-hmm.
It's a yes, I want to go the way, I want to go where you want to go, but this is how I see things. Sure. And that's how God designed them and made them up. So
Amen.
we need to really grab that.
Embrace that. Love it.
I don't know, something's been more aware of. But okay, so we're going to go into a segment where we call Leadership L's, right? So leadership has a lot of wins, successes, but we take some L's, we take some losses. So what is something that that's happened in your leadership career that maybe at the time it was hurtful, it was painful, but now we look back and it's maybe we can even have a little chuckle about it.
Learn from it. There's so many, where do we want to start? I think that I mentioned some of that, the bulldozing, okay, if you can't do it right, I'm going to pick it up and do it myself. Learning from that I literally cannot do all the things, and I'm not allowing people to grow, and I'm not, I'm literally capping myself in where the Lord wants to lead me by trying to hold all of the plates. I did that early on in my insurance career, and I did that early on in my youth ministry career. I think career. Wasn't a career. It was a season. Do we say season? Is that still a thing, or is that taboo?
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. I've got these tattooed on my arm, so like,
I think one of the biggest, and I actually asked my daughter this question, and listen, my eyes don't sweat very often. So let's see if we can not have them sweat today. I asked her, I said, as you've walked out life with me, and we're going to be talking about leadership, is there anything that you feel like I really stumbled on in life? And she said, well, when you were in youth ministry. And I'm like, tell me more, because our youth group
we
was
were killing
great.
it.
What are you talking about? She said, I think that you lost sight of your family.
wow.
So I knew this. We've talked about this. We've been through therapy. Like, it's definitely a thing, but to hear the words. So the loss there is like losing. I was leading so many people. I was leading teenagers. I was leading a phenomenal ministry team, and they were building and growing spiritually. Their families were growing. They were having salvations in their home, like all of the things. It was beautiful. And then my family was literally dying. And my own daughter, kind of living that PK life in the fishbowl with everybody watching, and what is she going to do? And she's supposed to be perfect, and all of the things. And I was always checking on everyone else and not checking on her.
Right.
Not checking the pulse of my marriage, kind of bulldozing my marriage, because we were doing this ministry together, but really it was what I say goes, So again, this bulldozing, I guess, all the way through, right? Okay, well, maybe I should take that to the Lord. So truly just kind of forgetting what my first ministry is and was at the time, is now. And she reminded me of that. And it's so true. I mean, there were so many red flags throughout the process that I just did not.
But you're doing the Lord's work, right?
Come on. I mean, seriously. I was so blind.
Yeah.
I was so blind. And it's not to say that God did not work all of that out. Like he's working it all to the good of those who love him, called according to his purpose. And I believe that with everything. And he worked it out. And my daughter is a stronger human being because of my failures in that time, no doubt. But did she endure a lot that she probably didn't have to because of my failures in leadership? Yeah, a whole lot. And as well as within my marriage, and I just missed out, I think. I missed out on some formative years of her development that I really missed the mark.
Yeah.
I lost sight of what truly was the most important ministry, the most important thing in my life. And so I would encourage listeners to do those heart checks.
Yeah.
We can be doing a lot of good, but at the end of the day, if we're leaving those that the Lord has given us to steward, if we're leaving those behind and we're not looking them in the eye, and we're not paying attention to their needs,
Right.
and we're putting all of that to the side because we've got to take that phone call, because we've got to go to this event, because we have to put this together, because this person needs me, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
I got to make this next sell. I've got to sell this next drink.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, we're missing it. We're missing it.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that is the trust that God is going to work it out. Like, you can say no, and God's going to work it out.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And I was literally having a conversation with somebody just before this, and talking to them about how ministers and people that I have the most respect for are the ones that prioritize their family.
Yeah.
Because, me and Larissa, we have every Thursday night is a date night, and then I'm looking at some intentional things to do with each of my kids that meets their needs, where, Gabriel's super involved in baseball, like loving baseball right now, and so we play catch and different things. And my daughter, that she's I mean, she reads like 1 million books. Like, it's ridiculous how fast and how well she can
adore
read.
her.
And so baseball is obviously not her thing, and she was like, hey, can we find something to do? And so, like, her and I are reading a book together.
That's
and,
awesome.
So I literally told him, I said, I was catching up because, again, she's an extremely fast reader, and I said, there's so many other things that I could be doing that's productive, but me reading this chapter is the most important thing I can do because my daughter is that important.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's good. So just kind of as we wrap up all this, we're gonna do one more thing, but I want to give the listeners the opportunity, one, to learn a little bit more about Jane Around the World, or maybe to see areas that they could either partner with through service or donation. So what is the best way for them to get in contact, involved with Jane Around the World?
Best way is connect with us on our website. If you're just truly just wanting to get some information about what we do, it's janearoundtheworld.org.
Yeah.
There's all the information about what we do with street ministry, all the information about what the transitional living facility looks like, our community connection, that sort of thing. There's an interest form there if they're interested in volunteering, ask some basic information, and then our volunteer coordinator gets in touch with them and decides like where the best place to plug them is, because we want you to be able to use your gifts, and so we take that seriously. There's all kinds of ways to come alongside us, whether it's, listen, everything that you use on a daily basis, we're using by 11, or however many ladies are in the house. So constantly need all of the same hygiene items, constantly need to fill our pantry, constantly need things that, like your laundry detergents and your dish soaps and things like that. So that's an easy way that people can come alongside us. We have Amazon wish lists out there that are posted, so you can certainly come along in that way. Or you can be a whole lot more intentional in it if you're wanting to eye contact time.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for us. So we have success partners that walk along with our ladies for finding employment or enrolling for school, things like that are next steps in their journey. We have mentor opportunities. We have opportunities to transport. We have opportunities to do fundraisers.
There we go.
One big thing that we love to do and love to see happen is that we want to know the people that you know. And a great opportunity to do that is to host a gathering where we would come out to your home or wherever it is that you decide, and with some of your closest friends or people that you think would be interested in learning more about Jane Around the World. And we have a meal together, we sit around the table, we break bread, and we share about Jane Around the World and our heart, our mission. And oftentimes you see sparks go off around that table of things that people feel like they could come alongside. And it may be stuff that we never even thought was a thing, and we need connection to donors. We don't receive any state or federal funding. And so everything that we are doing is funded by you, the listener, and the organizations that you are connected to. If it's church organization or a company or a foundation, those are the ways that we're able to pay the electricity at this house and provide for these ladies to get to their sustainable independence. So, and I would welcome a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
So
we will put a link down in the description. So I just want to encourage everyone to please go check it out. If there's any way that you can help or be a part and partner with them, then just do it. Even if it's a small monetary gift, everything will help. So check that out. And so it's going to bring us into our last segment. You didn't know about this one.
okay, I'm down.
All right. So this is our Would You Rather segment.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I'm going to give you this. Where we like to have fun around here.
I do like to have fun.
I mean, I feel like we dug pretty deep in there, and so now we're just going to have
No tears,
this
though.
slightly awkward transition. But that's funny that you say that, because we know that you have big feelings. You are a large personality. You're not afraid to laugh,
No way.
maybe even cry with other people. Even so, sometimes it's hard for those tears to come out. So, your would you rather was going to play into that.
All right.
Would you rather laugh uncontrollably every time someone cries,
I will pee on myself.
or cry every time someone laughs?
Oh no, I'll laugh uncontrollably every time
So
somebody
I'm
cries.
sitting here telling you my deepest, darkest trouble, and I'm just thank you,
And I'm over here like this.
Rebecca, for. So you would rather laugh at my.
But laughing is contagious.
Yeah, unless I'm like calling you like, Becky, this is tragedy, but my grandpa just passed away, and you're like,
He's dancing with the Lord. But what about if I cried every time somebody was like joyous and then I'm bringing them down? That's
okay, but
completely
what if you work
against.
your tears into laughter? Like it's like, like, I mean, I know people that do cry when they laugh.
I could cry when I laugh. I mean,
So, but you'd rather just laugh at somebody's like
does that mean I'm
sorrowful.
cold-hearted? I don't know.
I don't know. Take that one to the Lord. I don't know. Yeah, you got to answer that.
Lord, in this would you rather, I
Yeah.
said.
All right. So you heard it here.
I am cold-hearted.
Becky would rather laugh at you while you're crying. So that's it for today. I just want to thank you for taking the time to come. I hope that whether it's just encouragement in somebody else's leadership or even just the acknowledgement of even the needs and the tragedy that's out there around aged out foster care, that 50% are going to end up in a less than ideal life or even worse. And so that everyone has the power to, or the ability to reach out and change and affect that. And so hopefully you brought some awareness. I just want to say thank you for coming out. I really enjoyed
Thank you for
it.
having me. This was awesome. I appreciate you guys so much.
So again, thank you for joining us today. If you've stuck with us through all this, we hope you enjoyed our conversation. And please remember to share this podcast to all of your friends, your family,
Everybody.
your coworkers. Just share it to everybody.
Everybody.
And so new episodes drop the first Sunday of every month. So please tune in to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts. Go there and reach out. We want to hear back from you as well. And we hope this Leadership Blueprint conversation was beneficial for you. See you next time.
Peace out.
I want to take a minute and tell you about an annual conference that we host. It's called Empowerment Conference, and it's for pastors and ministry leaders from all over the world that come together to have a time of fellowship and to be refreshed, renewed, and resourced. Not only spiritually, but we give them practical resources to go back and impact their communities and their spheres of influence for the kingdom. This conference happens on the last Tuesday through Thursday of every September every year. There's lots of ways that you can get involved with Empowerment Conference. Maybe you're a pastor or a ministry leader that's looking for somewhere to come and connect with other pastors. You can get involved in that way. We offer scholarships for those who may not be able to afford to travel to a conference. Or maybe you own a business and you're looking for some opportunities to come and network with other businesses and ministry leaders. This is a great opportunity for you to come and have a booth in our vendor area and just have an opportunity to network with other people. So in whatever capacity you're looking to connect with Empowerment Conference, you can head to empowermentconf.com or click the link in the episode description to get more information and even register for this year's conference. We hope to see you there.